So yesterday, President Obama, he made his pick for the Supreme Court. Somebody named Judge Merrick Garland seems highly qualified. Somebody who Orrin Hatch just a couple of weeks ago said was the greatest thing since Carter's little liver pills. And then yesterday said, no, absolutely not. So what's up with the Republicans now, Jedediah?
I mean, gee, thanks. Yes. I stand with Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and Barack Obama when he filibustered Alito. Look, Barack Obama's a lame duck president. He has one foot out the door. Right now you have people voting. He does. He does.
So many things.
Look, he has one foot out the door right now, and he's already put 2 people on the Supreme Court. He has had his influence. That's great. He's president. I think he should.
No, there isn't.
No, hold on a second.
He's still the president.
Hold on 1 second. You have people right now voting. You have them voting for Hillary Clinton. You have them voting for Donald Trump.
And 5 million of them voted for President Obama.
That's right.
Twice.
And he put 2 people on the Supreme Court already. So what I say is if Hillary Clinton wins, she should have a right to make that nomination. And if Donald Trump wins, he should have a right to make that nomination.
But shouldn't they follow the Constitution and at least make that and make it go through at least just to go through the motions?
Yes, Raven.
Following the Constitution.
Let me tell you, but it's open to interpretation since you asked, what does the Constitution say? This is what the Constitution says. It says the president shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint judges of the Supreme Court. Of course, it means that he can make a nomination, but they don't have to. Yeah, but they don't necessarily have to consider it.
But they also shouldn't have. They shouldn't have blocked it before he even considered it. They should have kept that in your house, private, and then showed us.
Well, this audience agrees with that. Yeah. Well, the question really is how will it impact the next race? Because a lot of people are up for Senate seats on the Republican side.
24.
And a lot of people, voters are going to say, you know what? I'm sick of this obstructionism. I'm not voting for these people anymore.
Well,
that could happen.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because not only is the audience obviously in favor of at least the Senate doing their job, 66% of voters said that the GOP should hold hearings on the nominee, which is their job. And let me also say this. I think what is so significant is that Obama has nominated really the most middle ground, centrist judge possible.
Which the Democrats don't like.
Right. And I thought that looked like an olive branch. And what we are now seeing in response is this extremist, obstructionist position that the Republican Senate has been taking from the very beginning. What is wrong with the Republican Party at this point? What is wrong?
The thing is, though, he's not. I'm looking into his record. First of all, the Senate is doing its job. The Senate's job is that it can say no. And I've consulted Judge Andrew Napolitano and Mark Levin and these constitutional scholars that will say, based on the Constitution, the president, they are absolutely not wrong. The president must make the nomination. And the Senate can say, we don't want this person. Look, the Republicans, if Hillary Clinton gets elected and she gets to nominate someone, Republicans will sit back and maybe they will, Joy, maybe you're right. Maybe they will get a more liberal option. But right now, if you're going to speak to the voice of the people who are voting in this presidential election, let them speak. Let them nominate their presidential candidate and let that person make that decision.
How does this scenario fit with you? Hillary gets elected and she appoints Bernie Sanders. Hey! They will have a nervous breakdown in the Republican Party. There will be a major breakdown. Mitch McConnell will put his head in the oven. I'm telling you right now. If that happens,
the thing is,
there'll be a suicide pact.
There's a chance, though. Isn't there a chance that Republicans are actually sabotaging themselves? They could have a centrist now or a very liberal judge.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at his record on guns, on gun rights. I'm a little bit concerned.
He is absolutely a centrist. And you know why I know this? Because he comes out of the same federal prosecutor's office that I came out of. I've appeared in front of him. He is brilliant. He is known as being a centrist. He actually was part of the prosecutorial team for the Oklahoma City bombing, the Unabomber. He's tough on crime. He's pro-law enforcement.
I don't have a...
So for Republican Jedediah to sit here and say, I'm a little concerned about his record, that is nonsense.
How brilliant is President Obama to put this guy in and really put the screws to that? You know,
it's an olive branch.
Can I just remind? I just want to say, I know there's a lot of talk about obstructionism, but there is a segment of the population that looks at this as these people, these senators who they voted for, are standing up for them and their rights. The same way that if Sarah Palin were in there right now and had just put let's say if she put 2 Supreme Court justices in and had an opportunity to put a third, a lot of people would be saying, you know what? You have 1 foot out the door. Let the next president do it. I'm making that very same argument right now when it comes to Barack Obama.
She's right, though. We always tend, she's right.
If the shoe were on the other foot,
right.
you're right.
No,
Here's
you're right.
what I say to that before we go out. 2 wrongs don't make a right. We'll be right back with even more hot topics.